This is Icon Radio.
Yeah. What? Yeah. La bala. Agano. Third eye. Iram. Kuna mambo ruka mavitu zaanguka na zingine kupasuka. Wakati umefika uko fulani kusikika. Hakika ndugu na ndugu yako sometimes wa adui. Masala kiba safi mwenzako kutambui. Tuko mbele twakula tu makete. Wapiga makelele na watembo tele. Washamba muko wapi hatupataki mbele. Mwenzako bila simu niko kani na wazimu. Nanduka nipe ganja nipandishe mzuka. Chizi arosto ashada na kila MC na kila dada. Sifi cha kuvaa vizuri na kuchumpa kimisuli. Hapa kwele tunabudi kukufix kwenye kaburi. Tuliza boni, acha kiburi. Mwali umejaa tele mitaani. Kileta za kuleta sitokatunisha tu. Wakati ndio huu sisi hatumaindi mtu. Kama we mwalimu situlize sisi swali. Kama ni mchungaji umepatana na saki. Sitobembeleza kwani misi Uingereza. Na keresha, sina pressure, sina pesa. Na bado, na tesa. Wacha upinzani, wewe umbizani. Kwenye bezana tukoshana sibishani.
The heartbeat that I feel in my soul, I let it consume me. That way I'm taking control. You are leaking anga. Nitaba kama nyota. Music is the heartbeat that I feel in my soul. I let it consume me. That way I'm taking control. Music, feeling my soul. Don't lose it, just use it. Bet you I'm
Yeah.
feeling my soul.
Nimejiambi nikanenda vita Amerika na Saddam Hussein. Mbioni za sakafu kuisha kingoni, za siafu kuisha shimoni, zingine kuisha shingoni. Ni kutokana na kuchunganga ulimi, baki ukipondekana na freestyle. Inspiration ya bingi kwa hizo maakili, naunda foundation na kudongelea kikingi. Ni msingi kwa dongelea vidungi, baada ya baki lazimanga uti. Ni mta mavumbi, kuhuni, usuni, kwa himta pisilo. Ananga uzuri, anatumanga tu wadhikwa makaburi. We hama na uzuri, we hama na
La 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 la. La la la. Feeling my soul. Sana ya muziki ni imbe ni endele. Nisonge mbele. Tamaa ya chapasi na mziki talanta jamaa. Nilikotoka sitasahau mimi. Walionibeba akilini moyoni pamoja twaanga. Jasho ikimwagika mwisho Mola njia atatupatia. Turuke tupae kama ndege. Muziki isiponipa cha kufanya duniani mimi sina. Niibe nisote niendele. Music is life, this music man. This music thing, music is life, this music. It's all I got. Music is life, this
Yeah. Asikwambia mtu mzee, another classic mzee. Biam, asante mzee. Wakamba wilo na kutupa shukrani mzee. Yeah, next time lazima tupatane kwa biti kali mzee. Biam, wakamba wili, uko flade.
Msisau, ni 96 mzee. Yeah.
"33, 84 born thug is in your area. I'm 33. Al-Shabab mama yao ndani ya nyumba kama kwa 33. Yeah. I've been rhyming since umbilical days. Came from the belly of my mama with the plan and with the music prepared. Born already a slave. August 84, 10 a.m. I answer to a prayer. Pictures living Catherine and me somewhere in between the blessing. A little baby daughter, beautiful by all means, was just amazing. Where the mic at? This one my fast was in place of what the daughters a cry. See, I'm truly divine, no doubt about it if you really derive. I was a soul before the outer garment, existing easy with a former man. Though that's a story for another moment. Back to the nitty-gritty of the subject. Was too clever for pre-unit affairs. As I recall, I had to skip it like snares, cause repetition was a nightmare. I was done before I even began. School was a hobby even when I attended. My purpose was that behind the piano was a blooming career. As I remember, I lay before the bathing of my rough leg. Top S student, misunderstood still. My only remedy is the melodies in my ears. 84, born thuggers in your area. 33. I'm on the perfect moment in time, like fine wine, I'm in my prime. 33. Master, mama jama on the new East GEMS. 33. Al-Shabaab mama yao ndani ya nyumba kama kwao kule ndani. 3 suspensions followed by an expulsion. Toka Alliance kajipata kule Tala na kina Waters. Kidogo kidogo nikaanza tunga beti akigonga juda wati zenye drum set. Jam stations kila Jumapili ya likizo hapo F2 na NY. Nisingekosa micharazo juu ya biti za magwiji kama Prodigy. Questo ikawa ni havoc ya maklasiki. Black Rob, Wu-Tang, Big Band, bado mishabiki. Sijamsahau yule Dr. Waring, ding ding dong. Still Dre hadi wa leo bado Compton boss. Ay, walini shep nikashepika sawa sawa, ila ni wengi sijetaja juu ni space sina. Kiwadadani mbegu zishatosha kumiminwa. Kiminji minji, miaka 15 bado na chana. Bado na wakilisha pilka zenye maana. Na bado sijaona nikiwacha suna pana. 84 born thug, nimekuja kukawia tena sana. Best believe that I'm 33. I was walking on the beat 33. Representing for the 33. 84 born thuggers in your area. 33. I'm on that perfect moment in time, like fine wine, I'm in my prime. 33. Master, mama jama on the new East GEMS. 33. Al-Shabaab mama yao ndani ya nyumba kama kwao.
Yeah, main classic. Yeah. Mwenda zim kwenye beat, shinda beat. Na acha lazim niwe fit ushike hizi. Na sura ndim kwenye sisi ni pepi. Na stiki dole tu chakati kwa mbamba clap. Ini yangu tu wakati nikipanda chati. Kuipanga mikakati nikipata skati. Shika ndulo kunje sura pia bila kula wezi fura. Ukipenda piga bati na nyafura. Kila stura kile kosi mitikasi. Speedi 160 kwenye hustle niko kasi. Malumbano kwenye hip hop ino movement sezi asi. Mapambano hadi kifo jua struggle bila wasi. Hata kama ni ngumu ni yangu kazi. Itabidi unye sumu nikipata zawazi. Matatizo ni jikumu nikipanda ngazi. Kuja unishumti upete ni almasi. Rasta zioni makasi hasla misina tamasi. Fast napenda mikasi staki nikupe nafasi. Macho juu kwenye anga bila jasho siezi manga. Kile na haso nazijanga kabla mwili yone mchanga. Ni chango kile unacho umepata kwangu, bado macho kona zangu, songa kando hapa ni pangu. Kile wanataka kumbe ni sifu za malumbano, kukatika hadi struggle kutuliza. Wajachoka kutuliza, wamechoka kutukimbiza. Pale imefika wasi lazima kusifika, kama ni kusikika wani lazima kuwajibika. Amna kusikitika kabla struggle kukatika, lazima kupatika wakituona tumefika. Ni Mombasa nilizaliwa, hadi dini kajaliwa, na la kilichopaliwa kila mstari umekaliwa. Bado sijachoka kuhangaika, sijachoka kumakinika, kijana napata shika kwa sana kutatizika. Na ikazania kuzidi kungangania, ikibidi kupigania haso zaidi kabla kwenda Tanzania. Survival. Kila wiki bila pay mina daido, kila wiki mina pray niwe hardcore. Si lazima unipay mina die for, ini struggle nikifight bila rifle. Nikigambo iwe sima ama rifle, ukininyima kesho bima bado ndahaso. Kama nyoka vua ngozi uwe mpya kwenye game, wanapotoka na mabozi wakiwa wapya kwenye fame. Wanaponyoka kakamasi na kukimbia, wakikiona hichi kizazi wanakimya. Nikimaliza hii verse muendelee kudiscuss, muendelee kunikas bila hujafeel hii verse. Asira kwenye sura kwenda vita siezi ngoja, wamenona shinda chura na kuzidi uoga. Wanazidi kubakura kutulisha kila mzoga, wanapenda kujafura kutunyima pia mboga. Wana sababu ya kutoka, wanada bila kuchoka, bila sub sijachoka, ni wachip kama bag za muboka.
This is Icon Radio.
Kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama msuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama si sai si die, kama ni mboy si vai, kama na set ni ngwai, pamza baadaye si die, kama ni sai naitaka sai sai, makali napiga kachai, sina deni ndo ninajidai, ziko wapi marizo lai, plaga nafika tisai, says meshika design, Manchester ndo mina die, seso lenza rogalini, sai 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 sai, seso tajama kalini, sai 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 sai, kama kufanya nafanya kamini, sijali ni nini unasema nani, kama ni kuja miujiza kajini, na wakanyaga kanyasi nani, shari manyoni peng, deba ni kali na bang, na wanyuri na swag, bado na stack the bag, kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama msuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 medondoka mat donda utiaji nanka ako maji ama tu ni mrazi. Mbogi na ngoja nifike sai, jumboke imevai tupige sai. Jam pia imeshika walai, naona nisenkita dai sai.
We saisa, acha siasa, si ulisema unafika sai.
Sai, robo dakika nafika sai. Nimejipin, jaba na steam, mavelo kibon mejazo kwa tin. Mali ni fiti, kitu legit, shukisha curtain, safisha sim. Rada ni clean, wasora medim. Me and my team, we in it to win. Shari manyoni pang, deba ni kali na bang. Na wanyuri na swag, bado na stack the bag. Kama glass tunagonganisha, sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai kama glass tunagonganisha, sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai.
Yeah. Once again, it's the Beatmekah. Back like I never left. 10 fingers in the air repping. If you don't know, you better ask your mama or ask Akinyi with the good hair. Kauna nywele. I know a place you can borrow some hair from, but I'm not going to say it on radio. Yeah, we're back again. Hip hop all the way. Kenyan hip hop all the way. You know, I've been asked by quite a few people of late, why am I always rapping for Kenyan hip hop? Why not play a bit of Wu-Tang, you know, a bit of the like Nas, a bit of the guys Guru, about the guys who have put out their music before, Jay-Z, you know. And I'm thinking, like, for goodness sake, man, where are we? Are we not in Kenya? Are we not supposed to represent for our own people? You know, I feel like there's a lot of great hip hop that comes out of Kenya, but we don't give that chance to give our people that position to really hear this music. For example, I've been going around of late and asking people who they feel is great in the Kenyan music scene, especially in hip hop. Let me tell you, people look at me with blank faces. You know, like how you ask a child who's 1 year old, what is 1 + 1? And they look at you like, what are you talking about? You know? And that, I feel, is a big shame. Because if we're not helping our industry grow, then someone else is going to come and yank it from us. And I've said this several times on radio before. We've encouraged so many other people to come in our country and do their music, but we're not encouraging our own. You know, when someone puts, for example, out on social media, whatever platform, and says, hey, my new record has come out. You know, the first thing they say, you go down, yes, you're Namali. And you're thinking, like, how do you know? Have you even listened to one track? Do you even know what I'm talking about? And people don't give a care, which is a shame, because there was a time in Kenya that we used to bond together, you know. We used to say, hey, it doesn't matter who the artist is, provided they're from home, we're going to listen to them. So we need to get back to that place where we elevate ourselves, we elevate the people who are in the music scene, who are dropping gems out there. You know, I feel like at the end of the day, like, if I was to tell people right now, if I ask you right now on air, like, name for me a few artists that are dropping like solid. In fact, I'm curious. Send me a list of a few artists that you think out there from Kenya who are rapping hip hop, because the vote is about hip hop, or rapping out there. Give me a few lists of people that you really think are coming out strong. I'm curious. Let me hear their music. Encourage me also to learn that music that they're putting out there. I saw the other day online there was a huge discussion about Trio Mio, and it says that he has been struggling musically speaking. He even asked fans what to do so they can listen to his music again. You know, this is a shame, because not a shame that he asked. That's a good thing that he asked the fans, like, what do you feel about my music? Because honestly, there's a lot of times people don't ask the listener what they feel about the music. So he said that people are not really listening to his music. They're not really downloading it. They're not really streaming it. So he was asking, so what do you think I should do? But you know the response that he got? the response that he got, a lot of people came out and said that his music is not maturing. It's not growing to that level that it needs to. He remains the same flow, same cadences. Everything is the same, you know. And I feel at the end of the day, my opinion about his music, there is some truth about it where he needs to grow and he needs to be another artist. But the one thing I also feel is like you can't make everyone happy. It doesn't matter what job in the world you do, what genre of music you're doing, you cannot make everyone happy. So I feel what he got to do is first he's got to know himself. And what does he bring to the music? What does he bring to the culture of music that he's doing? What is he exactly trying to put out that's so unique that people need to listen to, you know? But I think it's good that he got people's opinions, but you cannot take everyone's opinion. It's like right now you're trying to cook some food and you put all the spices you know in the world in your food. Man, that food is going to taste like rubbish. Trust me. No one will want to eat that food. So you can't take every single thing that our people are putting out. And then another thing in Kenya, we love comparisons. We love comparisons to several other people. Say, hey, Bwana Zifayaka nani, na nani, na nani. That is not the way. That is not the way to go. Because everyone who comes out with something is always going to be crucified about how they put out their music. The other day, I saw an old article on social media about my old crew. Now you have to remember, yes, the Beatmekah is one of those old school guys, not young school. By the way, just shout out to myself. It was my birthday the other day. For all the people wish me happy birthday. Mad love, like 1000%. I appreciate you, love you guys. You know, thanks for the shout out. But I was checking out an article that came about my old crew. This is like in the 90s, late 90s, that came out. And I remember people now were praising us about how we made strides in Kenya. The group was called the Rap Community, you know, and how we made strides in Kenya. We even got an award at one time of how we changed music in Kenya. But it's like at that time, people were like, "Oh, you guys," everyone's like, "You guys made it. You guys did this. You guys improved on this." And I appreciate all those comments, and I told even one of the persons who written it, but you need to hear the real story because I'm one of the guys who, in fact, I'm the one who founded the group. And the honest truth is, when we were setting up that thing, we went through a lot of hardship. What I mean by hardship is that people would tell us, "You're going to fail. It's never going to work. You know, what you're trying to do, first of all, you're trying to do also some gospel, hip-hop, rap. It's never going to work. Like just... Maze, like, funga your bag when they're home." And the thing about us is that one thing helped us is that we were hard-headed. We were hard-headed, so we were like, you know, it didn't make a difference to us what you thought. If we were going to make this thing work or not, we were going to do it. And we were going to excel in it. And I kind of feel like that's how you have to be as an artist. Sometimes you got to just block out the noise. Block out the noise and figure out for yourself, like, why things need to work in the way you want them to work. Because anyone who comes up in the hip-hop market, they have a view of what they feel can work and what cannot work. But what do you feel inside of yourself that's going to make you great? So today I was focusing on why female rappers, specifically in Kenya, don't make it. Oh my goodness. Like, we always keep away from talking about this issue. But there's different sides of the story about this whole thing, why they don't make it. And I think most of us know the answer to this question. Like, why do female rappers don't make it? What is it that holds them back? That they don't really get to that place, that if they're trying to get to the top of the mountain, they get like midway and they're like, you know what, let me go back home. You know, why don't they ever get to the top of where they, and if there's one or two, you can count them. You can specifically count them. You know, for example, in Kenya, you hear a lot of times people talk about, Femi One. Back in the days, they talk about Nazizi. They talk about STL, Naughty Flow. You know, then it kind of just, you know, Mudoni the drama queen. Then it just kind of dies out there. You know, you don't hear any more about more people. So it's kind of like saying that you guys, you new school guys, you don't have it. You don't have that energy. You don't have the juice. Which to me is a bunch of rubbish. Like, I put out there with a capital R, that's a bunch of rubbish. who decides who can make it and who cannot make it? First of all, let me tell you the secret. The person who decides who cannot make it or who can make it is always you. Not even the public. It's you who decides. And if the public see that you are diehard, you believe in what you are doing, then guess what? They come and they tally behind you. They'll be like, this is our people. This is the one that we believe in. But if you're that kind of person who says, someone asks you, Unaje Floyako, and then you say, Najaribu. What do you mean, Najaribu? What the heck is that? You're already killing your career. So one of the first things is why female specific artists don't make it is because we've been told that it's a male-dominated industry. And it says hip-hop has been a male-dominated industry, yeah? And both in front and behind the scenes. You know, if you think about it right now, most of the male producers out there, most of the managers are also males. So people feel like even the women who come in the industry, they feel like for them to get in the industry, they have to bow down to this male ego. They have to bow down to this male dominance for them to make it. A lot of times they feel their voices are not strong enough to make it in the industry. And that's what's the thing to say, oh, you know, talk to any artist out there, any female artist, they'll tell you it's male dominated. If you look at the people who are behind them, they're men. They're not women, you know, which is a shame. Women have a lot of greatness in them, even greatness that men don't have, you know. But the thing is, they don't look at it from that perspective. They feel like I've got to go to this angle to make it work. And if you come across women who are actually producers or engineers or DJs, you know, there are very few. I have a friend of mine who's actually a DJ, and she's a darn good DJ, you know, and she does well in DJing. And she got this contract where she was invited, because people think this is just like in certain sections of like Kenya, it's beyond Kenya. It's beyond even Africa. It goes on in Europe, it goes on in America. So she got a contract to go to Tanzania and DJ for a couple of months. She was hired by this venue to be going to DJ over there. And guess what? She did not survive, like I think even about a month or 2 months. Because when she went there, the man in that club, she was like saying, a woman to DJ for us? That's impossible. So guess what? You rely on the customer to pay the tab. So she had to come back to Kenya. And it's a shame, by the way, of how people view women in the industry. I remember in the early days of hip-hop, the very early days of hip-hop, yes, there were women, but if you check a lot of the videos that came out, it was just basically women dancing, or they were extras in that video. They're just still booty shaking. That's what their role was, you know, because they were told from the beginning, this is how you got to play yourself to get in the industry, which I believe is a stupid way of thinking. You know, I've been around a lot of women who are great at what they do, and I'm here to give them their flowers today, you know. Another thing is that why women don't make it is stereotyping and image pressure. A lot of women are expected to fit into a narrow category, you know. They're highly sexualized, and they're also known to be ultra aggressive. Like they say, oh, if a woman says something, oh, it must be that time of the month, you know, she must be going through this, that's why she's angry, she's aggressive, you know. And then they also have to conform a lot of times what the male-dominated person wants, you know. And if a woman doesn't fit into that mold of what the man wants, then her career dies the same way. We've heard so many stories of great women who are great marketers, great PR, great artists, great rappers who just gave up in the industry. And if you look at why they gave up, there's a tally of men who were behind them who brought them down. That's why they gave up. So what happens when they do that? Become unmotivated completely. So you can go to her and say, hey, show me what you done. She has records for days, even more records than the male guy out there. But you never hear about them. Because at the same time, the male person who's behind it says, listen, if you want to excel, then you got to do this for me. You got to do this to make it work. I'm not going to waste my time investing in your studio time. I'm not going to waste my time investing in your branding if you're not going to go the way I want you to go, or if you don't jump in the bed with me, then you're not going to move on. You know, and I feel I feel like we're crucifying the women. But the worst thing about the women is also is that some of them have kind of believed in that scenario. You know, they believe in that scenario of how they have to be to make it. I'll give an example. Like of late, people hear a lot about Diana Cods, you know, but there's another side to her story. People say that she's over sexualized because the talent is very, very minimal, you know. And at the end of the day, they say if she didn't do all this extra other stuff, would she still be a great artist? 50 Cent in America came and made a statement about female artists. He says that a lot of the music that is being put out right now, because, you know, there's this whole thing coming out of my body, my choice. You know, so a lot of female artists who are coming out right now, he's saying like, when he listens to what they say, if they were not sexualized, they have nothing to say. It's either about sex or about how, what they want or how they want to be in the bedroom and things like that. So it's like they have no other content to give. Now, if you disagree with what I'm saying, it's all good. These are my perspectives of what I feel. These are my perspectives of people that I've talked to and how I've gotten information also from them. You as an artist, if you feel that this is incorrect, I'm willing to hear your opinion and give out what you feel. But at the end of the day, ask yourself one question. How many of you are going to support these women? How many of you are actually going online, streaming, or buying their music, or supporting them? How many of you can say that? You know, because when you even go on pages and you read the comments, there's no one saying that, hey, like, where can I buy your music from? I love your music. That doesn't exist. So what are we doing that's wrong? You know? So that stereotyping is real, and it's gonna ruin up when the industry, especially where women are, you know. And then they also, one thing why women give up, because they have limited industry support, and it starts from the top. It starts with the record labels. Now I have my own record label. I've worked with a lot of women, and so I have my own perspective on this discussion. It is true, record labels do have a place to play, of where they do not support their artists, do not help their artists to grow. More so in the major record labels, not so much on the independent. Independent can be there, but the major record labels, you have to play ball. They say you have to play ball or you're out. You know, it's kind of like if you're playing on let's say on a football team, and then the coach wants you to do a certain move, and you oppose that coach. Guess what happens? He benches you. Well, that's what happens. You're benched and you're not put. And discrimination happens a lot because labels have the certain perspective of how they want to work. Promoters have the way they want to work. Media outlets also has been a big problem in Kenya for female artists. Now here at Icon Radio, we're all about love. We're all about empowering the woman. We're all about empowering the SMEs. We're all about people in business. That's what we're about. We're about uplifting, not bringing down. There's no way you're going to come here and someone's going to step to you in a certain kind of way to try to get fame so you can get on radio over here. If that happens to you, get a shout out to the Beatmekah and I'll sort it out like real quick, you know. But I know that can't happen. Media outlets around the country has that problem. So they bring down female artists and they don't get to excel the way they want to, because they literally tell you that, listen, and I've heard this statement before from a lot of people, you go on the radio, they say, hey, if you want your song to come, lazima ujipe. And the jipe that they're talking about is not having a better song. It's other activities that they want done. So shame on you, media outlet, who are also out there. You're supposed to uplift these artists. You're supposed to uplift these women. You know, we have a job to take. We have a job to play over here. And we've got to do it, and we've got to do it well. So a lot of these artists give up because they're trying to get their music maybe on the media, you know, and it's not working out the way they want to. Thank goodness, in the last couple of years, social media came up, and social media has become stronger and stronger and stronger, where now you as an artist can control your branding. You control how your music goes out there. You can control how you want it to go out there without having to pay a hand to someone. You can just subscribe to a page, even if there's a small even somewhere where you can subscribe to have your music distributed and everything, so you can control the scenario. That's a positive thing. But still, media has a role to play in terms of promoting you. And for years and years and years and years around, media has had a role to play in how music is put out there. But a lot of female artists claim they didn't get the same punch as the male artists got. Because a male artist, though there's male artists who have also gone through certain problems with media outlets also, and I'll get in that story another day. Today is not about the men, it's about the women, but the opportunities to get the music out there, to get it to be heard by media outlets is quite limited. And for me, I feel that is like really a shame, because how do we want our artists to succeed? How do we want our specifically our female artists to succeed? So they feel that's another form. It's just another form of harassment, another form of exploitment. And so I feel like at the end of the day, what are we going to do to change the scenario? And then a lot of times, two artists, female artists, can be put against each other. It's kind of like, it's like you're going for like, those underground boxing matches where sometimes people really don't want to box, but they do because they were trying to get something from it. And so with these women, they're put against each other, and this is not a good thing, because at the end of the day, it's like they're put in a situation where they have to shun each other. When you have to shun the person who you're trying to look up to and you're trying to move with in the same, and now you become like enemies, that's not a great thing. There's a time in Kenya I saw that there was this whole thing about, on the female side, about who's the best rapper. And some of these women would go hard against each other, like literally, like it was crazy, some of the things they were saying. And I feel like one rapper, I don't want to mention, said, hey, you don't want to try to come against me, because you try to come against me, immediately when you come against me, your career will be over. I'll finish you. And I'm thinking like, oh, come on, please, man. That's like prehistoric, Like there's got to be better things that are happening right now for these artists to grow, A lot of artists who are females also, why they don't succeed is because they talk about sexism and harassment. Now I know a couple of female artists here in Kenya who have been to studios, and they claim there are no safe spaces in recording studios, where the producer and his people in the room basically jumped on her and raped her, And I asked myself, like when these things happens and you're literally told to shut your mouth, if you speak out, then they're gonna come for you. So my question is, how does that help the artists move forward? They came to you because they believed in you, and they believed that you had the right skills to help them excel themselves. And then sometimes they'll even go to other people out there and tell them about what they went through, and the first thing they say, that's a lie, that never happened, And so a lot of females give up in their music, in their talent, because they're basically being harassed, They're being exploited. They're underestimated by producers, managers, and their peers. This makes someone just say, you know what, I'd rather be in my hole and give up. I don't want to move forward with this, And I asked myself, like, and I asked this question some weeks ago on the Vault. I said, sometimes, is music worth it? Is it worth it? Because everyone around you is telling you it's not worth it. So when does it become worth it? When do you decide that, you know what, I'm going to make something great of what I do, I'm going to excel it, I'm going to be great? With all these problems that I mentioned going around, how do you decide when it's time to continue and it's time to stop? How do I succeed as a female artist? How do I grow into being the artist that I need to be? Now, me personally, I want to see more women in the music industry. That's my disclaimer. I'm putting it out there. I want to see more women rise and do the best they can do. And I've seen so many female rappers in this country, Like I've seen rappers from Nairobi to Mombasa to Narok to LD to Kisumu. I've seen all kinds of lady female rappers who are so talented. But next time I meet them, what are they doing? They're doing a normal office job, and you ask them why they stopped. And they say, oh, you know, I have people to take care of, or I felt I was discriminated in the industry. So the thing is, the question is, why doesn't the industry love them? Why doesn't it love these women? Why doesn't it want them to be great? Why do male feel intimidated by these women, where they feel like a female cannot move forward unless it's on their tab, on their way they do things? I feel those days is the prehistoric days. Those are the jungle days. That time is over, man. It's time for women to rise. And we're going to take a short break right now and get back to you. This is The Vote. This is hip-hop. This is about seeing women succeed. So we're coming back. Enjoy the music that we're playing.
Radio.
Rate kichapa hapa, ukitaka kunifukuza usiniambie toka. Ongea chafu, unajua nimeokoka. Niliamini alipoingia mlemavu akatoka na wheelchair kwa mabega. Kwa nini unatamia pedikyo lakini uko busy kushukuru Muumba wako? Unapenda straw za kuvua na bra. Mbona ukisha tu una feel guilty? God amekwa nje kakiyati kwa msikiti. Mahanga iko, manga haiko. Manzi tubaki mabeste, sikugusi hadi nikuvalisha pete. Ni showboy ana reason hivi, ni kushow nywele kwa kichwa ya TVJ. Mara hii nimekam kwa show, sijakam flow. Opposite ya kubu, hongera bambu, shaito anaomboleza kutupoteza. Mbinguni kuna bash, boy mefanya usafi kwa kulima market, vidole kaza. Fort Kenya, not sure to chill, same screen scenes za kunyonjisha still. Goda tazani unavyokaa, unavyovaa, lakini dada hiyo rinda inafaa. Refu kidogo, naona ngozi kwa usana, shinda material. Kwa church concert ikiendelea, kuna umati. Preaching ikianza, viti empty. Boy kijitengana mwili, sababu ya dhambi. Sitaki nichomeke kakitambi ya stove. Mara hii nimekam kwa show, sijakam flow. Nitakani kumiliki dunia nzima. Liko ni roll na mpangaji mpya wa ESU. Nilikuwa puppet, makasi ya Mwenyezi ikakata strings za giza. CAT siskizi Tupac Shakur na Skizo Bar pamoja na Davibi pato na Adur. Klabu sifiki kama kati kwa ndevu ya Nyang Nyongo ama Osama koma ama. Heaven kuingia ngumu kuchota supu na kipitia njia pia lia biaji. Walitumia familia lia rambi rambi. Dunia nzima yeah.
This is Icon Radio.
kile tafanyika hapa ibaki hapa so amudhi. Hii ni party ya Vegas tuna tuko ndani na wadhi. Watoto wako ndani tu ni wa mami na daddy na vile wana wine tu tadhani mkenya njagathi. Twende right, twende left, kila mkia njagathi. One lege asi, hiyo ni ya zamani. Fanya hivi alafu hivi, kila mkia njagathi. Party ni ya Vegas tu, wengia tu nani.
Waingia, hapa itaki unaulizia. Hapa itaki ucheze mbali karibia. Hadisia, kanishamba palilia. Akianika na kuja kukwanulia. Hati gonga kia gonga tukisonga. Watiaji sio wazima tunawacha wameponda. Vile kana ride utadhani mini Honda. Na mbogi ya kuchachisha hapa kule kila kona. Shuka nayo down alafu pandisha juu. Ni wami zikishika ni wayu. Hati shuka nayo down alafu pandisha juu. Ni wami zikishika ni wayu.
Na kile tafanyika hapa ibaki hapa so amudhi. Hii ni party ya Vegas tuna tuko ndani na wadhi. Watoto wako ndani tu ni wa mami na daddy na vile wana wine tu tadhani mkenya njagathi. Twende right, twende left, kila mkia njagathi. One lege asi, hiyo ni ya zamani. Fanya hivi alafu hivi, kila mkia njagathi. Party ni ya Vegas tu, wengia tu nani.
Tingisha kiuno baby go down low. Let me tap the bum, you know Alvaro is a pro. Dem ni mrembo ni mimi na wa show. Katoto ni kalaiski na kanapenda raw. Kadem kana itwa Clary. Manze kana dai ati mimu handi. Kamshika wapi kakakuwa weti. Designer na split anafanya na ifeel. Tukaja kwa room na sisi tuka flow. Akachora 7 mini sniper nika shot. Speaker iko loud, nduru yake iko mob.
Na kile tafanyika hapa ibaki hapa so amudhi. Hii ni party ya Vegas tuna tuko ndani na wadhi. Watoto wako ndani tu ni wa mami na daddy na vile wana wine tu tadhani mkenya njagathi. Twende right, twende left, kila mkia njagathi. One lege asi, hiyo ni ya zamani. Fanya hivi alafu hivi, kila mkia njagathi. Party ni ya Vegas tu, wengia tu nani.
Watu wako fresh tu ni pamba wamevaa. Moody ko fresh in case wamekaa as in hapa ni kuoda tukisha meza inajaa. DJ anacheza tu ngoma vile inafaa. Na like that Buddha party iko on to all my smokers too. Mina jua mko zone wale wa fake ID. Mina jua mko on pale ma face IG. Mnakaa mko grown. Isiku kibaki home man kuchekelewa. Kama ukai rasmi hapa man kuwekelewa. Kuna msee hana phone man. Sema kuchomolewa. Kuna msee aoni mpoa wake man. Sema kugongewa.
Na kile tafanyika hapa ibaki hapa so amudhi. Hii ni party ya Vegas tuna tuko ndani na wadhi. Watoto wako ndani tu ni wa mami na daddy na vile wana wine tu tadhani mkenya njagathi. Twende right, twende left, kila mkia njagathi. One lege asi, hiyo ni ya zamani. Fanya hivi alafu hivi, kila mkia njagathi. Party ni ya Vegas tu, wengia tu nani. Na kile tafanyika hapa ibaki hapa so amudhi. Hii ni party ya Vegas tuna tuko ndani na wadhi. Watoto wako ndani tu ni wa mami na daddy na vile wana wine tu tadhani mkenya njagathi. Twende right, twende left, one lege asi, hiyo ni ya zamani. Fanya hivi alafu hivi, party ni ya Vegas tu, wengia tu nani.
Listen, yeah, everyday tuna pray vitu zitakuwa fiti. Despair, frustration, ndani usiwe mixed in. Usiblanda ujentango life kupige miti. Right, kwa generation iko piki. But hey, sio ndo life in the city. Looks deceiving, perceptions ni risky. Charlie fly and die, he wants to meet me. Social media was the only way he had to reach me. Coffee chai badai, he wants to kiss me. Kahaya hana ndai was all to please me. For what? Yote ni show. Ati ndo ni mnoki juu ya dough. Swali moja, kwa nini bro? Na baki niki ask myself, I have to know. Where's the confidence to be yourself? I mean, do you have to live a lie just to appease yourself? Ukiona pic, uneza follow, uneza click, upige usoro. Ndo at least, usiwe solo. Online police, upiga mdomo. Wapate sliding kwa DM. Usiku kucha hadi PM. Wajaze uongo kwenye TL. Ilibidi ni wapime. Na iwa huanga regular occurrence ndani ya concrete jungle. Matters of the heart huanga poorly handled. For instance, dem akona machali wanne na wote amewaset at a safe distance. They can't meet each other, talk to each other. I mean, hey, they don't even know each other. Sema play with a loaded gun. What's funny, all the 4 dudes think they're just the one. What's the plan? I mean, what's the goal? Chini ya maji kila jama kona different role. Ay, if you know, you know. Nima ama chako field na wana mess na pro. Ay, but ana get her dough. By any means necessary, ana get some more. So, kila siku I have to ask myself, do we have to live a lie just to appease ourselves? Ukiona pick, uneza follow, uneza click, upige usoro. Ndo at least, usiwe solo. Online police, upiga mdomo. Wapate sliding kwa DM, usiku kucha hadi PM. Wajaze uongo kwenye TL, ilibidi ni wapime. Yo, kuna tapeli atanuia faida. Kuna mabuli, makatfish kwa cyber. Maruma monga wanasiasa kawaida, living a lie wakichocha kwenye captions. Kuna tapeli atanuia faida. Kuna mabuli, makatfish kwa cyber. Maruma monga wanasiasa kawaida, living a lie wakichocha kwenye captions.
This is Icon Radio.
Kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi, kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi.
Kwa ile spot tuli watch the stars, tuki make the wishes. Difference neti niko solo kwa bench na niko seated. Mali love ili reside, nime hold broken pieces. Nilibeba heart kwa sleeve, nikabaki kumend the pieces. Tuli chill kwa hii spot, tuki smoke sensi, stargazing. Holding on kwa mkia shooting style, kwa amazing. Sexy dresses na zidunga, kwa dinner tuli hata. The one who got away ulipoteza X factor. Ni kama love imedai na kwa eyelids tuka place dimes back in time. Lips zako zikiwa pressed to mine. How come niko solo kwa Hancock na tulishare wawili. Of late umekuwa ukiact busy na kabla hurt my feelings. Kabla attachment ifanywe niwe anxious na overthinking. I would say
Ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha. Kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi, kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi.
when I'm pushing it back, the arc in my back inapinda kama rainbow. Nina vidonda kwa heart, tukiwa mbali ya part, tukini hata ubaki lay low. Nina mwingine na like, tunavutana kispark, tutapendana hadi mwisho. Siku ya kwanza kumit, kuna kitu ili click, akasema mimi ni mrembo. Can't believe nilikuwa na hold on kwa affair one-sided. Should have seen it coming in the deep, nilikuwa blinded. Ni kama ilikuwa decided, love language itakuwa silence. Nika tuli break up on a Sunday after cook up on a Friday. I used to be like you until nikapewa advice na mother. Akaniambia niache kuota mawazi mededi.
Ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha, ananifana nipa furaha. Kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi, kiwa single siachi, niko single kiasi.
Yeah, na manzi yako kwa wapi akiwa mbali kiasi, basi nipe nafasi. Twende raundi kiasi, tukameze maglasi, maybe after party. Tutabanja kiasi, tujuane kiasi. Kama uko single kiasi, tupendane kiasi. Ukiwa single siachi, uko single kiasi. Juu niko single kiasi.
Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize. Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize.
Kani style kwa mic yangu wanga hadi ni shabag the worms blend ya mkanga ali patana vibe hapa na daily ko rattling tabaki uko mbioni kawa dhijicho kiwa hustling pungukiwa na hewa vile buda uko gasping sawa na show zako juu ya stage ukiwa rapping na vile kwa insta ya fake fans they be gassing and you be acting like the man you be yapping tauli chochopia na lately hawako happy cause after hii ni mkali wao they be asking kwa speakers zao tu ni me they be bumping mikono juu let the next do the snapping.
Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize. Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize.
Whether ni fine for once awa kudanganya focused. Eyes on the prize ni vile miu kwanga focused. Daily kurise na before mshukuru God first on my knees that nisiwae wana any of my folks heart. Siamini ati saine zalipa bills na flow. Nakumbuka time do ifike ilikuwa na come this slow. Nowadays hata doubters wanna act like they know. How do they fast kubuy tickets, how do they fast kwa show. Nilichoose kuwakia my dreams na zina come true. Challenges zilikuwa mob looking back zina few. Hard work na persistence, two things zilinikamia through tough times. Lazima ni thank everybody I'll stay true. That's the reason after he to ni me they be asking. Kwa speakers out to ni me they be bumping. Kauna feel he go ahead do the clapping. Mikono juu let the next do the snapping.
Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize. Early in the morning I feel so fly. Mugi me nice, tunawapa vitu fine. Mabishano ngori nazichoche wildlife. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize. Eyes on trophy, my eyes on prize.
Aligrab glass ya mvinyo kwa serving tray moja ili circulate. Another night out ya kufeel awkward bila date. Akateka few step kwa staircase zililit kwa ballroom. Sipping toka kwa glasi na grace ignite the whole room. One look around alikuwa hoping ata recognize faces. Parties za high end kwake ni baadhi the familiar places. Fancy dresses high powered kuvutia attention ya the rich. Rare gems kwa earlobes na lingo queen gets the elite. Kuna wengine kaya waliflaunt garments za designer. Fellow women wakistare ni affirmation look fine. Kitupa glances kuna chances at identify target. Akaride energy ya room before kutest the market. Attention ni effortless kwake. Skin imeblend be perfect. Outfit amedunga ali still show kwa gala za red carpet. Wanaume wanamsoma ka riddle wakionyesha interest. Wengine wanamcheki ka object kwa display wakiwa impressed. Why we take from our women, why we rape our women, why we hate our women. I think it's time to feel for our women, time to heal our women, be real with our women. I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women, why we hate our women. I think it's time to feel for our women, time to heal our women, be real with our women. Alikuwa about kuretreat kwa launch room akiona prospect. One movement kufeed macho zake akastare for a moment. Alitaka kuread facial features but distance haikumpermit. Plus target alikuwa kwa conversation aliseem distracted. What he saw ni mwanaume alihold macho zake hostage. Dready kwa kichwa chake ziliblend sawa na hairband. For a moment aliwandama itakuwa possible chali kumpenda. Last kwa intent zake object ya fantasy ni yule stranger. Karantipia ulimi kwa upper lip kutuma silent message. In return chali akares glasi kupropose a toast. Now moving akicheki Isabella kutoka head to toe. Presence yake masculine ili dominate room na undertones. Naka sensational tonight. Akasikia voice iki approach. So do you akarespond akitry kujicompose. Kissing both sides za cheek zake akajintroduce Richie. Akajibonda ito Isabella grip ya handshake akaireceive. Yeah, napenda vile yo dress na makeup zina blend na skin. Nimekuwa nikikuwatch chini ya maji ka submarine. Let me guess, umeget compliments kibao toka kwa population ya wanaume, vile gezao zina point your direction. Right to make your acquaintance, akajibu was still laughing. Of course the next step invitation, akajipata dancing. After a few sips kwa tray, akaplace the empty glass, taking pleasure in a surrounding, akitry to relax. The last meal ali have ni lunch, against a better judgment. Ali resort to drinking na who stranger anadai waandamane. Somewhere between frenzy na boldness ana lose ground. Lost kwa embrace ya huyu stranger kwa dance floor akimove around. Swali za mbona ali feel safe kwa mikono zake aliponda. Eye contact na huyu stranger kwa thoughts zake ali take over. The more ali slow dance na pia embrace ili feel tight. The more party ili progress na kila kitu ili feel right. You wonder why we take from our women, where we rape our women, where we hate our women. I think it's time to feel for our women, time to heal our women, be real with our women. I wonder why we take from our women, where we rape our women, where we hate our women. I think it's time to feel for our women, time to heal our women, be real with our women. Hey, his mind richly than vile Isabella ni dem unique. Aliembody beauty na charisma, alikuwa endowed na physique. Something about her yenye madem wengi walilak. Ikiturn out hayuko married, forever he night inaweza last. She might as well be wale madem could draw in na good loving. Alafu baadaye wana pull back kukwacha hanging. Tagging emotions za wanaume na intentions zao self-serving. Akadrop hizo thoughts, akijikonsole, could be judging. The more night ili progress, the more strangers wali flat. From conversation sketchy hadi kukontent, wali invite ya kukatch smoke kwa space ya parking. Akaichukulia kama chance ya kujua huchali zaidi. Kufika kwa parking lot walichapa shots kadhaa za whisky. After kuseti fegi kadhaa, baadaye wakawasha kijiti. One thing led to another, baadaye akajipata kissing. Baadaye akaanza kufeel like you're all drowsy and sleepy. The last thing anakumbuka ni akitry ku go down on her. Entitlement na asira pia kifosa go down on him. Aliam early the next morning kujipata kwa street bleeding. Bila memory ya kitu ili happened, alikuwa lucky kukua breathing. Damn.
We're back with the vote, the beat maker, not the beat taker. It's got to be 10 fingers in the air. That's how we present on Icon Radio, playing hip-hop, Kenyan hip-hop to the world. Yes, the world is hearing us, how we represent our language, our flow, the way we talk, our stories. That's what hip-hop is about, your story. So we've been playing today Veryl Mkaliwao, one of the top female rappers out there representing in the game. She brought out her album called Supreme Dada, and today, guess what? Hey, you got the privilege of the Beatmekah, him himself, doing a review on Supreme Dada. Now I gotta tell you, this is one album that I love listening to. You know, first of all, I met a young Veryl Mkaliwao some time ago, and I remember the first time I met her, she was here on Icon Radio on the Vault. She was also on the Vault Cypher. You know, they've been checking out. We have other artists that have been on the Vault Cypher, other female artists. The last artist you can go check out is right now on our page on YouTube, where you'll find the Vault Cyphers. You'll find Tulia there, another great artist, putting out her music, showing us what she's about, giving us her story about what she's gone through in the hip-hop industry, what I've been talking about, what female artists go through. But with Veryl, I remember meeting her, and I remember asking her one question that was burning inside of me that I had to ask her. I asked her, this album that you've put out, you know, because Veryl's an artist based, she's an artist, a creative, a DJ, based in Nakuru. You know, Nakuru have a lot of great artists. Let me tell you, if there's a place that you got to check out from, it's definitely Nax. Nax are bringing a lot of hot guys out there, you know, a lot of young artists coming, seasoned artists, guys like Romy Swahili, you know, a lot of great people that I've listened to. I've been to Nakuru, check out the hip-hop scene over there, and it's massive, it's wonderful, you know, so check out their music, find online. But I asked Veryl, why on your records, the record specifically that I heard, do you have so many collaborations? I was like, get rid of those so many collaborations so we can focus on you. If you're gonna do on a record, like put at least 3 maximum maybe 4, but let it end there. And I'm glad to see on Supreme Dada, like she came with a new way of doing things. She gave her story. Her collaborations were there. They were not as many, but they were still good collaborations that she put out. So the first thing that that stuck out to me when I got the album was the artwork. Oh my goodness, you guys need to see this artwork. Like it sticks out like it's something that you remember, you know? Because you see a lioness in a mink coat, in a purple mink coat. That's what you see. And it is like, my goodness, like who created this? This is awesome, you know? And we people in hip hop already know what this signifies. You know, when you see anyone in a mink coat, that signifies dominance. Yes, I said it with a capital D, dominance. You're not here to step in the game. You're here to take over the game. You know, in the sign of seen as I'm prominent. You know, I'm not taking any prisoners. You know, I'm here to not just sit in and soothe in, but I'm here to stand out and take out everyone who's around me. You know, that's what it was about. But there are a few records on this album that stuck out to me positively because I listened to him. It's actually a 14-track album that has both intros and outros, things that you can follow, things that you can gauge, things that you can understand what she's talking about. So I want to go through some of the tracks. The track called Jugadi, yeah, that's Viral on it. She features Levonex, Pato Rebel, and Alvaro M.A. I hope I got that right. This is the third track on the album. It has a good party vibe. When you hear it, it has that thing that you just want to jam to, you just want to dance along to. And Veil brings out strong lyrical tone on this record. Her tone is good on this record. And also the collaborations bring a good essence on this track where they complement each other and flow unison. You know, one of the things you really got to watch out when you're putting out a collaboration and you're working along with people, do they enhance you on what you're doing, or do they take over? In this essence on this track, Jugadia, I felt like they complemented each other like very well. You know, they complement each other in and out. There was a good balance of it, and it's a track that you want to listen to. You know, the way it was recorded, the way you hear how the voices come together, you're like, yeah, this is actually a good record, you know. And I was proud when I heard it, you know, because I was just thinking like, this album has that commercial aspect about it that I feel was for me was missing in her last records, but this one I feel like really complemented that and brought out a mature side of her also, you know. Then there's the 5th track that comes out on the album. It's called Captions. And what Captions about, it gives life illustrations talking how relationships that appear real can turn out to be fake, and especially on social media relationships. And you know how it is on when you go on social media, whether it's on these dating platforms or what, someone appears to, you know, show you, hey, I'm loving you, but that is really not there. So Vera shows a good vibe once again, a good tonality on this record as she explains her views and key phrases. Sliding qua DM. I find that very catchy of how she put it together. The beat is also catchy and has a strong dominant drum snare that is memorable, you know. And I feel like even the way the beat was put together on this, it's something like, it's not too much, it's just enough so you can feel what she's talking about and you can jam with it. Then there was a 2nd track, and I'll be honest, let me put it out there, I love this particular track, you know. It's called Single Kiasi. Of course, we all know about the TV show and ever, but this is, I feel, it's different. So Single Kiasi, you know, Vero once again featuring My Benz. And I think what I like about it is she's giving her perspective about being in a relationship, but also at the same time really not being there. You know, that's why Ako Apo Kiasi. Yes, we know what Kiasi is. So it's like she's there, but then one leg in, one leg out. And I feel the way she flowed on this record was good as she drives her views home. and just the way she brings them out, you can mess with it. You feel like, yo, this is something that I can relate to because this happens all the time. This happens all the time. Once again, remember I said the hip hop, the rap music is about giving your story, giving you where you're coming from, and she's definitely giving a story that I feel a lot of people will rock with and understand with. And I feel the vocalist Mike Benz has good vocals. They stand out. I'll tell you that. I'm very particular on vocals. Anyone who's been with me in the studio knows I'm very particular how vocals, especially for singers, how they sound. So she has good vocals. Though I felt the harmonies could have been better on this record. Instead of just sticking to two-part harmonies on this record, it was just a basic two-part harmony. I feel that she could have done a bit more. The vocalist on My Benz could have done a bit more to make the hook warmer, you know, and also stand out more, you know. I feel like the hook was good. When it first hits, I'm thinking like, okay, who's this lady who's singing? She's complimenting Veryl in a very good way. But I don't know, inside of me, I just felt like I want more. It's kind of like when you go to a place to eat and you're hungry, and then they just give you these small bitings. You're like, hey, maze wapi chakula? I want more food to eat from this, you know. So I felt that record that she put out, Veryl Single Kiasi, is a record that you should definitely check out, you know, because I feel the way it was put together, it's a new kind of sound that she's putting out that's different, that's not the usual her, and that's what I loved about it. Then there's a 10th track on the album also. It's called Eyes on the Prize, featuring Pato Rebel. Now, this record touches on why you need to be focused and also how you move and flow in life. I think that's very important, how you move and how you're going, and she talks about it. I personally don't feel that Pato Rebel was very strong on the hook. I think he sounded a bit flat when he was singing, but once again, that's my opinion. You can go have a listen to it, come with your own opinion. I feel he could have been a stronger hook, but at the same time, this is the other side of the point. Sometimes you don't need to do all that, and I feel a particular record, and he helps to make it memorable. So sometimes, and it happens a lot of music where artists are not singing like on some certain keys, you know. So it's fine. It's because that works. It's like I remember back in the days listening to Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac, you know, and they were strong work. But the way he doesn't do trying to do a lot of vocals on it, like stretching his vocals, maybe the way someone like Brian McKnight would do it, or Boyz II Men. But that was fine because you remember it. So I feel like Pato Rebel makes this record memorable, which is fine and is still good. The beat has an Afro-Latin feel that really complements it lyrically, which Veryl is talking about in the track. It just suits her voice in it, you know. Which being focused by talking about keeping her eyes on the prize. The main thing is keeping your eyes on the prize. Where are you going? Where's your focus? Where are you leading to? Where do you want to end up? Like, are you focused? So I feel it has a good vibe to it, you know. And I feel like there's not too much going on. Sometimes, a lot of times, I always tell artists that sometimes less is more. You know, sometimes you can do too much on a record and it defeats its purpose. I've heard a lot of records where people do way too much. You want to put like 16 harmonies, you know, you want to put all these high falsetto voices, you want to do what, it's too much. So you get lost. By the time you're hearing the mix, you don't even know what to listen to. You know, the main artists, you even know what they're talking about. So this one has a good balance, you know. And I also feel there was a good track, you know. Then there's the 13th track that comes on the listing on her album, and this track is called Isabella. Now, what is Isabella about? I feel this is a good record. The talk was about how we treat our women and how women face and struggle against violence in society. Now, remember I was talking about why women give up in the rap industry, in hip-hop industry, in the music industry in Kenya. This is one of the reasons why. And Vera talks about this. You know, she talks about like how women are treated. And once again, I know people may be like, it's one-sided. It's always man who treat women in a certain kind of way. But I think this record needed to be heard. It needed to be said, you know. And I remember on this track, there's a particular line that I like that stuck out to me. It says, "Why do we hate our women? Rape our women." Let me say it again. Why do we hate our women and rape our women? So I feel that was a good question that she was posing, you know? Like, why do you do that? Why do you say that you love someone and then treat them like rubbish? You know, what is the purpose about it? You know, how do we uplift our women? You know, and so I felt there was on a lot of tracks there was an empowering feel that she was putting out there that I feel as a man I can understand. You know, being around a lot of women in the industry, being around a lot of women in life, and have given me their stories of what they face personally. Like, I always want a woman to feel comfortable in a studio. I want her to feel creative in her art. You know, the gift doesn't come from men. The gift that woman has doesn't come from men. It comes from God, you know. And the gift comes from God. It doesn't come from only the people around you can help you elevate your gift. But the real gift comes from God, you know. And the one thing, the Bible says, me growing up and I believe in God, believing in everything that has to do with God and the guidance and everything for someone to make it. It says, the Bible says, your gift will make room for you. Not people will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. Then it says it will take you before kings and queens. So if you see a woman that has a gift and she's putting out her music out there, or she's trying to do something positive, she's in a relationship and she's trying to elevate the man in her life, you know, and she feels hated by the man because of the way he treats her. You know, some men get very violent. In this day and age, I've heard so many stories. Like, if I was to give a history of most people that I know in relationships, 7 out of 10 have told me they were physically abused, not just verbally, but physically, you know. That's what happens. So I feel why Vera has a question that she's posing, you know, in Isabella, and definitely check out this record. You know, it starts out, if we're getting about into the musicality about it, it starts out with a classic, you know, hip hop vinyl. You know, if you know those records from back in the days that your parents used to listen to, you put them on the record player and you hear shh, that sound in the background. That's the vinyl effect. You know, and it's classic in hip hop. When you hear a record like that in hip hop coming, you know it's gonna have that boom bap vibe. You just know you're gonna start bopping your head to it. You know, so this would have had that vinyl effect in the background with the lead piano that just catches your attention. The beat has a good piano melody to emphasize on the deep talk that she's talking about. You know, it gives you that feel. It's not a rush kind of beat. You know, it's that kind of beat you listen to. I don't know what BPM, maybe it was about 90 BPM or something. I don't know what the BPM was, but it had that vibe that you just wanna listen to it. Though I feel that even though the vinyl thing was good, you know, how it was put together, I feel that the producer could have put in more creative instruments that could have added a creative mood to this record. I feel like the piano was good, but if you could have had other instruments that complemented it, you know, it was still good without those other instruments, but I feel like this would enhance the production quality of what she was saying. And I feel for sure this particular record needs to be listened to and also to meditate on what she is saying, you know. And when I go down my list and think of how this particular album was put together, like I said, like one thing that I like is it did have that feel of it's a conscious record, but at the same time, it has that commerciality where some tracks, you know, you just want to get up and dance, you just want to jam to them, that has that good vibe that you can kick with it, you know. So I feel when I listen to the record, if I was to give a rating of it out of 10, I would give it a 7 out of 10, you know. I feel the lyricism was quite good. Some of the lyrics system could have been better, but I feel that it was good at where it reached. In terms of the tracks that were on this album, I would give it a 6. You know, I feel like some of the tracks, like there could have been a bit more to make me want to ride with them. You know, some of them were very good. You know, as you hear some of the samples in the background, how they're put together. You know, but some of them I feel the tracks could have been better. Even the drum programming of how they're put together could have been better. You know, the sound engineering, I give it a 5 out of 10. You know, I feel like you can hear a lot of what's being said, but on some tracks you couldn't hear the mix that well. So it's not a bad mix. It's actually a fair mix. So I feel that the mixing could have been better on some levels, you know. But once again, this is my opinion, you know. People don't have to agree with it. I'm doing my own review. You can get out there and do your own review on Supreme Dada, you know. The vocals, I'll give them a 5. And the reason I'm giving the vocals 5 is because I feel the tonality a lot of times, like how you flow, like sometimes that Vera has a way of flowing on her music, and I feel like most people have that signature kind of way of singing or rapping. I feel sometimes you gotta go out of the box instead of just being in the box. I know we're taught it's good to be in the box, but sometimes when you're working on your vocals, you got to get out of the box. And I feel I just want her to get out of the box more when she's rhyming, so that, you know, most of the music can be in a compliment way of, you know, you're really digging it when you listen to it, you know. The listening experience for me, I give it an 8 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. I won't lie. I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed the album, which, you know, shout out, thumbs up, you know, all up to you, Verum Kaliwao, and all the people that were on your records over here. Give them all a shout out. Props to you. Props as a woman who's doing her thing, you know, and really representing out there, showing a different side of how music should be. So I love the stories that were involved in it. You know, now I can't continue giving a review without talking about the production and the beats. You know, like, yo, I'm from the production background, from an artist background, and so some people will say that sometimes, hey, the beat maker is a bit harsh, and I'm like, darn straight, I am harsh. You know, how do you grow if people can't tell you the truth about what you're putting out there? Remember, creativity is seen in different ways people see it. This is my way of seeing it. So I think the beats are generally good, but how they were programmed, like I said, could have been better. You know, when I look at the drum programming, how they're instilled with each other, I feel like some of the sounds, some of them are falling a bit behind. So I feel like in terms of clarity and what they could have been a bit better, even the way of drum programming, like there's different ways the drums could have been programmed to really bring it out, you know, different tones of how it could have been mixed to actually put it out also. The beat quality was basically the 4 areas that I saw that the productions were stuck to. There was the bouncy kind of beat quality. There was the dark ones for the storytelling. It was also soulful, and there's quite a bit of experimentalness in the beats, you know. And I like that. I like that they were trying different kind of things throughout this album to try different kinds of beat times of quality. So I felt that was good. But not all the beats match the mood of the lyrics. Whenever you're working on an album, you got to check the mood about what someone is talking to, how you want to. Some tracks you need a bit more, some you need a bit less. But always look at the mood of what the artist first of all is trying to say, and then that's how the beats are matched to that. I feel like I said early on, more varied instrumentals across the album would have been great. You know. Sometimes some better synths, some better ways, some bass lines, some different way of playing the instruments, I feel could have been better. People say, oh, you know, hip hop is a culture of sampling a lot. Yes, there is a lot of sampling that goes on, but there is also a lot of instrument playing, and throughout history, you see a lot of producers who actually created their own sounds. So I feel like the instrumental side across the album, there can be more variations. So when I think about the flow and delivery, I feel that Vero does have unique flow, though cadences and dictions could be slightly better. I feel that very strongly. Like, I want to hear your word, what you're saying. I want it to be clear so I can understand what you're saying. You know, all the time when I'm with people in the studio and I say, I got to hear what you're saying. You know, sometimes, like, if I don't want to, if you're saying love, I want to hear love. I don't hear love. You know, there's a difference with that, you know. And some people be like, oh, it's a swag thing. No, no, no. Lyrics are meant to be heard, you know. So I feel the cadences and the diction could have been slightly better. On some of the tone and voice control could also be better, especially on the really deep tracks with deep emphasis. I feel like there's a different tones that could have been added to really say what she's trying to say, and for me to take you, for her to take me in that world. That's where tone is important, you know. It's like I can wake up in the morning and be like, hey, how you doing? And I can still wake up and say, hey, how you doing? You know, if I say, hey, how you doing? You won't be in the mood of talking to me that much. Well, maybe it's because you're going through something. You don't want to take back. Be like, hey, and it makes me vibrant. So different tracks have different tones, and I feel like working on the tone could be better just for the emphasis about it. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just getting my view of how it could be better. I feel like most parts Vero does ride the beat smoothly, you know. She's in the pocket of the beat, you know, which is important as an artist who's putting together an album. You got to be within the beat, you know. If you're not, then you lose people within even 10 seconds, 10, 20 seconds, you've lost them. So Vero also does switch up on beats to keep things fresh. You know, like she'll go from one party track to another track. I don't want to mention all the tracks. I'm just covering the ones that I felt were good. You can go listen to it and you get the vibe that you get when you listen to that record, you know. I feel the structure of the album, like how long each track was, it was a good length, especially for media play and streaming. People forget a lot of times that when you're bringing, like, for example, for your record for onto media, if it's too long, for example, if it's like 5 minutes, let me tell you something. The media houses are not going to play it. They'll rarely play it because the thing is they have their own structure of how long each record should be that's being played, you know. So I feel that she got it right on the length and just keeps you captivated enough that you want to listen to the next track and the next track and the next one. You know, you want to hear them. So for the track order, most of the records do flow well, and the interludes fall in good places where she has interludes where she's giving her own stories in through those interludes. So I feel that was also great, you know. In terms of the features and the collaborations, I feel that most of the collaborations complemented very well, you know. And why I say that is, like, collaborations, you're supposed to complement each other. You're not supposed to outshine each other on a collaboration. And I felt that the collaborations just fitted in the right way where they're supposed to be met, you know. She got the right balance for the features. And even the people who feature on the collaborations, I feel that they brought a good element to what she was doing on her record, you know, that they really complimented her. Of course, she's a star, but they are collaborating with her, you know. Like I said, single Kiasi's definitely stuck out for me. I like it. It just has this calm kind of feel, but you remember what she's talking about. So I feel like if I'm to analyze Supreme Data and his album, the people, in my view, will be checking for. I feel like Vero has grown her brand and she keeps on growing it in a way where people want to listen to what more and more to what she's doing. And she's definitely representing as a Kenyan. She's definitely representing hip hop, you know, as a lady out there doing her thing, giving her stories from a female perspective. I feel that is also very important. Not just a perspective, but a female perspective. And that's what I love about it. Yeah? So the final thing that I would say, when I give my rating for the whole album, like the whole album all together, now get ready, drum roll, this is my rating. My rating is I give it 7 out of 10, you know, which is good. At least it's over the 50% mark. And I feel there's about 3 other things that could be worked on, but I feel a 7 out of 10 is what I feel when I listen to it. She definitely has a bold return to her music. So this was a good return, and it's a standard album in my view. I believe people will listen to this project several times. So like I said, I've given my review. There are other records on this album to check out for and have a listen to, because there are other records that I feel were good, but these 5 that I've talked about are the ones that really stood out for me, and I'm happy to see the way Verl is growing. To me, she's a humble lady, you know, and she keeps on working hard. Now I want to see more women out there who are coming out and doing their things. We have people like Shazi B out there doing her things. We have Tulia out there. We have Saisa. We have a lot of we have Snyder Dondada. You know, we have artists upcoming like Riri. There's a lot of women who are putting out the record. And for me, my suggestion to the people who are listening right now to The Vote is one thing you got to remember, that here at The Vote, we're here about empowering all kinds of artists, male artists, female artists that are in the industry. But today was focusing on female artists and what they bring to the game. You know, like I said, a lot of them have given up because lack of motivation. They've given up because they don't see their music going anywhere. I'll tell you this, for your music to work, it's something that you keep on having to drive at to make it work. You can't wake up and give up and expect that you're going to go anywhere. Most of the people have been in the industry, even female artists have been in the industry, a lot of them have been there for years, for many years, a long time, you know. And by the time you hear about them, people like, let's say, MC Sharon have been there like forever, you know. I saw the other day online, there's someone wrote a comment, I can't remember who it was, someone wrote a comment and said, if there was a rapper you'd like to listen to in Kenya, someone who really grabs you, who would it be? There's a lot of guys who went out there and wrote MC Sharon. Now, I know MC Sharon personally. I've worked with her in the studio. Great artist, wonderful artist. And the mistake you should not make is to call MC Sharon just a rapper. Should be like, hey, you know what? Or you just call a Luo rapper. You're like, guess what? I'm also a singer, you know, which is true, you know. But I remember reaching out to her and telling her, hey, people are showing you love, and she was really appreciative, you know. She said she really needed to hear that, you know. So I'm happy that people, and if you talk to someone like her and she tells you the amount of things that she's gone through, everything she's gone through, and she's still working through to make her music stand out, you realize it's a thing that you have to wake up every day and work at. Sometimes you don't feel like working at it. Sometimes you feel like sleeping. Sometimes you just feel like, you know, screw it. Let me watch a series on TV. Let me watch some Netflix or Showmax, you know. And sometimes you gotta put that down and shut that out, you know, and just work on the gift that God has given you. At the same time, the music industry is not easy. It's one of the hardest industries in the world, by the way. And it may look like it's glam and all that, but it's really a rough industry to get into. And sometimes the closest people who are around you are the people who motivate you the least. You know, they're not the people who uplift you. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I've been there in life. The people who you think will be there to encourage you are the people who are slagging you off and trying to put you down. You know, so you've got to be your biggest cheerleader, you know. What I mean by that is you got to be the person who says, you know what, I've heard what you've got to say, but I'm blocking out that noise. I'm going to work and keep on working and working, you know, to make it work, yeah? And I remember there's a group of guys I was working 518. They always have this thing, this motto of keep on moving forward until they know. People will know about us, you know. And I always give props to all these artists who are putting in the time, they're putting in the effort, they're putting in the skills they need to improve on themselves. Now, you know what? Here also at Icon Radio, I want to put something else before we wind up. Here at Icon Radio, we're all about helping the new artists moving forward and growing in their skills. So, for example, we run here at Icon Radio. There's Icon Radio, and there's an organization also that teaches film and media, you know, skills called AFTI. So we came together and put up a program that's called Artist Development that I helped create under my company, Cypher Studios, you know. And basically what it gives the artist a chance to learn how to be the artist for the current market that it needs to be in. It also helps them in terms of the business side, you know, because a lot of times you cannot grow as an artist if you do not understand the music business. The music business is darn important. A lot of artists fail because they don't know what happens in copyrights. They don't know what happens with the royalties. They don't know what about publishing. They don't know anything about. All they know is that I love to perform. So we train an artist development course on getting the artists ready. You can check it out on our website. Check out all the details. So if you want to enroll, you can get an understanding. So I feel there's a lot of great artists coming up. You've got to remember one thing. Like I said, I celebrated my birthday the other day. I'm no longer a young man. I'm growing older by the year. That is good to know. You know, I have no problem with growing older. The gray hair has checked in. Apparently, women say they like men with gray hair. I really don't know, but I'm okay with that. But this is it. When I got in the music industry, I was 14 years old, 15. I'm not that age now. There's younger kids who are coming up right now in the market who know how to maneuver around social media, who want to perform and do it. That's what they say, music is a young man's game. They have the energy, just the way we saw when the Gen Zs came out. They had the energy to go to parliament. You know, not so much the older guys, but the younger guys. The older guys are like, yeah, we support you, keep on moving. That's how the music industry also is. The older guys were here to support, but we want to see the younger masses coming up and really taking the lead. So artist development class actually teaches how to go about that and how to actually develop your brand, how to make your music for you to stand out whether it's in a group or as an individual artist, you know. And so when I see a lot of these artists that I knew that have come up, like I mentioned, people like Saisa who have come up through music. I remember meeting a young Saisa when she was here at Icon Radio also, and I used to tell her, hey, you know, Saisa, get on the mic. I said, get on the mic, let's record you right now. She would freak out, like freak out. Like, you know, like that song goes, freak out. Yeah, she would freak out, you know. And now when I see her as an artist, she's going out there, you know, she's doing her thing, you know, she's representing on her own. Same thing with Shazzy B. I saw her. She's putting in the time. She's doing her thing. There's a lot of great women who are coming out and putting out their music. And today, the Beatmekah just wants to give you your flowers, your roses, your flowers, your carnations, whatever. I give all of that to you. And I say, keep on doing your thing. The Volt Cypher is here to support you. The Beatmekah is here to support you. Icon Radio is here to support you. So keep on bigging up. Keep on coming strong. Keep on coming the way you need to come. And one last thing, we do reviews all the time on albums that are coming up or singles, records. So if you want us to rate or do a review on your music, put it out there for people to listen to, all you have to do is go on our pages, you know, submit your music. Make sure that when you submit your music, you submit it also with your EPK, so we know exactly what you're doing and how the best to support you. We're also here as a station to network and link you up with other artists that are doing great things out there. So reach out to Icon Radio because we're here to support you. So I hope you've enjoyed the Vault today. I hope you've enjoyed this hip-hop segment that we have done. And there are going to be more. It doesn't end today about uplifting women. Trust me, I'm a man. Anyone who knows me, I'm a man who believes in supporting women in their craft, you know. So we have more episodes, more things coming up, more Volt Cyphers coming up. So check us out. So bless up. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. Remember, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop ni culture ya love. Usisahau. And if you forget, holler at Icon, holler at the Volt, and we'll remind you what hip hop is about, and especially Kenyan hip hop. So bless up. Remember, this is a beat maker, not the beat taker. 10 fingers in the air. And if you don't know, you better ask your mama. Bless.
moja akaamushwa. Ushanuswa, ushanguka na bado haujaguzwa. Wetoka hapa ama unangoja kufukuzwa. Tudanganye umeokoka, hati umechoka na usanii unatoroka. Tudanganye unaponda na kumbe unasota. Maji imebwagika ndio unajaribu kuchota. Na mbona kila kitu unaona inachoma. Tunaona ni kama inakutoka na ni kujitolea. Tu unatetemeka nikatushabika. Hiyo tarumbeta roho ndani naweza sema umechomeka. Hata kuna cheka magego weke nje na kuonesha pa kuweka. Na hapa kat hawanajifanya sufakat. Hapa kani black tuoni judge na mufat. Kama ni noma una dark, kama utabaki good luck. Tu utaniona lakini sura hautamak. Msanii akakaa jina lako nani nalo jino lako gani linayo mistari ndani flow kama waelewa rap sababu hakuna mishap mistari kuitema kakinyago na kusoma usanii sahi na MCs kama Isa Hisa wana sanaa kwa sagodi bila godi tafteni ujanja kwa bizki master agadi jili kuondoka rap kike rap ni fact kumu kukubali wengine hatujali tupilia mbali akili tukiwakili sha tukiwa na tracks mahali hapa wanawaka moto washa moto pasha club moto washa yeah come on.
For you to do hip hop you have to love the music, and for you to love the music you have to listen to other people instead of listening to yourself. Hip hop inakwambia ya real life there's a story. Listen to hip hop, it's part of me. Hip hop ni culture.
Hip hop ni maisha ambayo tunaishi daily life ya street.
Watu bado watajua hip hop nini. Haikuanzia Amerika, hip hop ilianzia Afrika, our own original art form. Hip hop ni kitu kutoka Ghana, na hiyo kitu kile kutoka Ghana bado iko. Culture yetu imepotea.
Msanii akakaa
tutaifanya tena na kaa umenelewa kuna time ya kupoteza na
ni safari na Ducati chini, akili ni ndani mistari. Nina exercise utadhani ni Bakari toka pwani. Ni duniani ndio nyumbani au mchangani. Hii ni knock kwa urban doors. Opportunity tumekam ku exploit. Presented to us either by light or dark in this lust for cash. Where you live and how you think intertwined. Explain how we breed evil in the society. So when I'm accelerating every activity the brain is thinking, please don't mistake me, don't judge me, get off me.
Tunaweza ifanya tutaifanya tena na kaa. Tulisema siwezi rudia tena na kaa. Umenielewa kuna time ya kucheza na kaa. Umenielewa sina time ya kupoteza. Tunaweza ifanya tutaifanya tena na kaa. Tulisema siwezi rudia tena na kaa. Umenielewa kuna time ya kupoteza na kaa. Umenielewa sina time ya kupoteza.
We si jambazi, we ni shabik. Kuambia marafiki zako mimi ni mnafik. Keep off macho zako kwa biashara zangu kama keep off. Ingekuwa ni jeshi yangu wangepewa tip off. Wangetoka usiku wa manane na maulipo wa kuangaisha warudie malipo. Na kama wangepewa wangekukuta ukidozi. Naleta joto kwa nyumba inabidi utoke no split. Popote nitajisikia nitachomea topike yote ya kuongea. Na slap makafiri na smile ya ngiri. Hakuna type ya siri unaweza tuficha, tumekuwekea waya kwa mwili. Nikiendelea kubav zaidi umekwama na mimi ndani ya hizi mashairi.
Tunaweza ifanya tutaifanya tena na kaa. Tulisema siwezi rudia tena na kaa. Umenielewa kuna time ya kucheza na kaa. Umenielewa sina time ya kupoteza. Tunaweza ifanya tutaifanya tena na kaa. Tulisema siwezi rudia tena na kaa. Umenielewa kuna time ya kupoteza na kaa. Umenielewa sina time ya kupoteza.
Ni hard kuniget katikati ya concrete jungle. Mini camouflage jando. Wezi ni get struggle before ni split. Na hii D technique na hii snare na kick. Blue jeans na ndula za kick. Paki, clap, PG3 Boulder reblow. When the revolutionary blow. Na dem dream do. Bakinika na flow. Hardcore dando wow wow.
So severe.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Without forgetting me nasonga. Story yangu inalonga.
Umwani hosi ndio mimi nilizaliwa. Maisha ikiwa nzuri tuliliishi maliwa. Makunywa chang'aa baba alijipata jela. Mamangu housewife hakuwa na hela. Rent tukakosa tukawekewa kufuli. Tukaenda majengo kuishi na nti yangu mzuri. Mattress kwa floor ndio ilikuwa malazi. Kila samaki ilikuwa ni mgongo wazi. Ilikuwa tu mtoto mchanga ndiposa. Wakati mwingine singevumilia kukosa. Nilienda kitandani machozi yakitiririka. Umaskini ulikuwa unafanya na kasirika. Na babangu na maisha na elimu na walimu. Nikahepa jua mabangu akadhani mi wazimu. Nilihisi uchungu mamangu akinililia. Maliza masomo mwanangu vumilia.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Makes you stronger. We can laugh with me no longer, no longer. Machozi yanitiririka, ukweli wadhihirika. I've held on to the past too long, but now I'm letting go.
Primo nikamaliza seko starehe. Oktoba 9, 1996 tarehe. Ujumbe nilipata babangu alikuwa amekufa. Hakujenga ukuta, hakuziba ufa. Nilikuwa kwa ule umri wa kubalehe. Hata kwa kifo sikuwa nimemsamehe. Ulevi wake kini cha sisi kuteseka. Kwangu bado hangeombolezeka. Adole ilichangia kutomsamehea. Kwa muda mrefu mama tulitegemea. Baba akiwa raundi zake za kulewalewa. Na mama nyumbani sisi tulilelewa. Miaka mingi baadaye na sasa naelewa. Baba moyoni ushasamehewa. Mengi sikusema kabla wewe kuenda. Hata kwa hayo yote baba nilikupenda.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Makes you stronger. We can laugh with me no longer, no longer. Machozi yanitiririka, ukweli wadhihirika. I've held on to the past too long, but now I'm letting go.
Safari ndani ya maisha yangu na waalika. Siri za familia nazo nazianika. Nia sikufanya babangu akae vibaya. Hadithi na wapatia ndio kuinspire. Kuteleza kunaweza sababisha kuanguka. Wachache huinuka, babangu hakuamka. Demons ni mingi, yake ilikuwa pombe. Pia kwa chupa, busaa kwa kikombe. Spirit streets kwa jwala changa kwa glasi, mwelekeo akapoteza na kuishi wasiwasi. Weaknesses huwa ni lazima maishani, kibinafsi jijue ujue zako ni gani. Ni uchungu kuzaliwa kwa familia haina ganji, lakini damu ni zito kushinda maji. Na ulikotoka usiwahi kuhaibika, la sivyo kule unaenda hutafika.
Where were you? Where were you? But now I understand that we all make mistakes. Oh, story yangu nina longa. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You're not with me no longer. No, you're not with me no longer. Reality didn't know when I went in the chapter. I fell into the past too long, but now I let it go.
Uko ready kunijudge? Bona boy wa area alisare kwenda church, but hakuna mwenye anajua chenye na go through, venye nalia solo na sina mtu wa kushare na mtu wa kugo to. Big sis ndio amelazwa na kansa, na mtoi bana amezaliwa na ugonjwa ina answer. Nisha give up. The same time na fight depression, the same time na fight addiction. Mtoi amezaliwa manze na ma complication, wanna die it's complicated hawezi.
And a big birthday shout out to Mr. Jimmy the Beatmaker himself, Mr. Five Fingers in the Air. We wish you the best ever. May you live to blow so many candles that you lose breath. Haha. Big shout out to you for everything you're doing for artists in the industry, for people who are coming up in the industry. We look forward to the future of you at Icon, and of course, the future of just the Beatmaker. Enjoy your birthday. Much love, Myra.
Happy birthday to the Beatmaker, aka Devil Crusher, aka Big Brother, aka Jimmy James Okungu. Happy birthday from your baby sister. We love and appreciate you. Love the show. You're always killing it on the vault. Wishing you lots of love and happiness.
And a big